Great piece at foxnews.com by my colleague and friend Hugh Hewitt. The column is his trademark morning glory. He's always like saying good morning to Canada or something. He's got a greeting that he always says to Canada. I think, and then he says morning glory, evening grace. So the column at foxnews.com is Morning Glory by Hugh Hewitt. Now, Hugh always makes fun of me, and we're friends. We've known each other for over 20 years, and we've worked together for that long a period of time. And he's one of those kind of Ohio trash talkers. I've known people like that. I've worked with people like this in my whole life. Mitch Dolan was a guy like that in New York City. There's trash talkers. They poke fun. And it's playful. It's never really mean or serious. It's just fun. But they always tease. I'll get on stage with Hugh somewhere, and Hugh will say, boy, I'm just so disappointed to learn that Mike has become a never-Trumper. Mike has denounced Donald Trump and despises every aspect of the Trump presidency. So then everybody has to laugh, and then I have to say, he's kidding. That's Hugh, right? So I don't really like teasing him back because that's not really my thing. I mean, I admit I'm kind of a big softy. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Despite what I do for a living, I don't want to appear to be mean or anything. But once in a while, I cannot resist. I just read Hugh's column at foxnews.com. He has the longest bio I have ever seen in my entire life. The bio for Hugh is as long as his column, and the column is long. I've never seen a bio like this before. This is the crazy. Now, Hugh, I think, would probably say, well, Fox wants to, sing my praises. Fox wants to make sure everybody. This is the nuttiest thing. Again, I don't like teasing him, but next time you talk to Hugh Hewitt, you ask him about his bio at foxnews.com. This is remarkable. Tracy, where do we go to get a publicist like this? It can't be that miserable Dwayne guy, because that guy's so unhappy and miserable in life. I don't think Hugh's bio is like the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's like the Magna Carta. This is wild. Eric, should I read it? I mean, this bio, I know a lot of, okay, and not everybody hears Hugh, but you see him on Fox News because he's got his, he's always wanted to be a Fox News contributor, and God bless him. I'm glad he's there. And, he's a big brain. He's a smart guy. He's a friend. I love his work. I appreciate him. I'm glad he really did change his mind about Trump, because unlike the jokes that he tells about me, who has always been on board for Donald Trump, he didn't used to be a Trump fan. But Hugh is part of that breed that came around. And I love that about him. He was willing to see the light finally. After stubbornly opposing Trump and trying to come up with ways to even block him from getting the nomination and everything else, he's on board as enthusiastically as the rest of us. And that speaks well of him. But this bio, this is wild. Let me read this bio to you. And then I promise we'll move on, but I got to get this off my chest. This is hysterical. Hugh Hewitt is a Fox News contributor and host of The Hugh Hewitt Show, heard weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on many stations around the country on the Salem Radio Network and simulcast on Salem News Channel. Hugh drives America home on the East Coast and to lunch on the West Coast on over 400 affiliates nationwide and on all the streaming platforms where SNC can be seen. He is a frequent guest on the Fox News Channel's News Roundtable, hosted by Brett Baer, weekdays at 6 p.m. A son of Ohio and a graduate of Harvard College and the University of Michigan Law School, Hewitt has been a professor of law at Chapman University's Fowler School of Law since 1996, where he teaches constitutional law. He launched his radio show from Los Angeles in 1990. Hewitt has frequently appeared on every major national news television network, hosted television shows for PBS and MSNBC, written for every major American paper, has authored a dozen books, and moderated a score of Republican candidate debates. Most recently, the November 2023 Republican presidential debate in Miami and 4 Republican presidential debates in the 2015 and 2016 cycle. Oh, we're not done yet. This thing is just getting started. Hewitt focuses his show and his column on the Constitution, national security, American politics, and the Cleveland Browns and Guardians. Hewitt has interviewed tens of thousands of guests, from Democrats Hillary Clinton and John Kerry to Republican presidents George W. Bush and Donald Trump over his 40 years in broadcast. And this column previews the lead story that will drive his radio TV show today. That's his bio. That's as long as the column. Do they do that every time he puts a column in the foxnews.com? My eyes are bleeding. This morning for breakfast, Hugh and the fetching Mrs. Hewitt had scrambled eggs with slightly crispy bacon. Last week, oh, brother. All right, I got to move on, but that's something. That is something. I'm going to start. What do we got to start calling him? Hugh, Mr. Bio Hewitt. Big brain, bigger bio. And again, I'm not the kind of guy that normally pokes fun, but I could not resist. Let's go back to the news yesterday. The GDP exceeding the economists' expectations. Trump beating Wall Street with the GDP. Here's Kevin Hassett. Listen on C-SPAN what Kevin Hassett said about this being one of the best announcements, best achievements for the country and the Republican Party you can imagine.
It's really one of the best GDP announcements or releases that you could imagine, because there's blockbuster growth way above expectation, and there's also a real almost collapse in inflation. It went down by about 1.5% all the way down to 2.1%, which is the Fed's target. And so to have high growth with low inflation and also high income growth, personal income growth was 3%. That's just like about a sweet spot for a GDP release.
Here's a Trump administration official saying it doesn't get much better than this. But here's what's great. This doesn't get any better than this. CNN, Abby Phillips, who continuously interrupts Scott Jennings anytime. They all do. They all start yelling at Scott, our Salem radio colleague, every time he tries to make a point on that roundtable. But he keeps going back for more. God bless him. This is March of this year. I want you to go back to March with Abby Phillips and Scott Jennings, our friend and colleague, arguing about Trump's tariffs and whether or not the tariffs would be good for our nation's economy.
Palpable panic on Wall Street, red numbers and worries about something else that starts with an R, recession.
What we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time.
He's talking about that period of transition is what he's talking about is his firm belief that tariffs are going to be the main way that the United States brings in revenue. Never mind what they do to the prices that people actually pay when they purchase goods in a global economy. I mean, Scott, virtually no one who understands economics believes that tariffs are a good idea, including all those people that we played in the clip to get into this conversation, most of whom side with Trump. They believe in Trump. They're supporters of his.
Yeah, he firmly believes in it. It's his theory. And guess what? He ran on it and he got elected on it. And for his theory to take root, it will take some period of time. And he will rise and fall on this theory.
Are you comfortable with Trump rolling the dice on the United States' economy based on his hunch that we should go back to, the McKinley era tariffs?
Am I comfortable that the person who was duly elected president of the United States be allowed to govern in the way that he said he would in order to win the election? Of course I am.
I mean, you hear the guy can't say 6 words without her interrupting everything he says. And that was in March, okay? Scott is patiently trying to tell Blabbermouth, you got to wait a few months. You got to give it time. Well, who knew that we were talking about a matter of months? Because guess what? Now we've had massive victories for America in the Trade Department. Right now, the Treasury Department announcing an unexpected budget surplus. This is fueled by a sharp rise in tariff revenues and a higher than anticipated tax incoming, marking the notable vindication for Trump's economic strategy. Trump's strategy is working. Now, I thought it'd be kind of fun to poke into last night, to pop in and see what these CNN crazies are saying about all of this good news about the economic boom that Trump's tariffs are causing. You know, look, a whole bunch of Republicans don't like tariffs either, but they are forced now to swallow the medicine of a better than expected GDP, of a booming stock market, a soaring economy. So let's check in with last night and see how they were doing.
I'd like to build a DeLorean and go back to April when everybody here was predicting likely to cause a recession. Investment stops and a recession happens. They're not talking about a U.S. recession. They're talking about a global recession.
What was happening in April,
lead to
Scott?
Recession. Eventually, there being a reception.
Very cleverly. Hang on a second. If he's chosen to pick my words,
want to point
just
out,
a second,
you called the recession.
You
took your shoe off.
And Joe, would you like to see that again?
You took your shoe off. You brought cookies out here.
15% shoe.
You took your shoe off and you said there was going to be a recession.
Listen, Scott,
GDP is 3%.
Too early to give a final verdict.
All right, Scott,
it's too early. Just a second, Abby. He's basically calling me out here. It's too early to give a final verdict on the tariffs. You may wish to, but at the moment, it can't be said what the long-term effect is going to be.
I am just a journalist, and all I can do is read the economic data.
It's a bit of a stretch.
3% GDP, trade deals, record high in the stock market.
Come on, these trade deals are garbage.
It's actually much simpler.
Garbage? Yes.
You know, every clip I see of that panel, you know the one that's the worst culprit in shutting Scott down? It's that host. It's Abby Phillips. She never shuts up. He can't say 5 words. It's so maddening to try to watch him make a point. And their argument is, Scott, well, we weren't sure back in March. Well, the tariff story was different back in March. This is all part of Trump's strategy. It's called negotiation, dumbbell. It's called negotiating with countries and getting the best deal for the American people. Dope. Wow. 800-655-MIKE.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.